On Judiciary, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has filed a lawsuit against the Central Bank of Nigeria for failing to account for over 10 billion naira in dirty and bad notes and other large sum of cash. Filed by the Federal High Court in Lagos, SERAP demands explanation for missing funds, including 7.2 billion naira for CBN Dutch branch building and 4.8 billion for renovating the Abeokuta branch. They also seek accountability for 1.2 billion and 1.9 billion naira in loans to Enugu and Anambra state governments, respectively. SERAP argued these issues demanding undermine public trust and call for transparency and accountability. No hearing date has been set. All right. I remember that some years back, it was an issue of no cash problem, especially when it has to do with that time that they wanted to redesign cash, because now I don't know what is going on if they're still proceeding with the policy of redesigning notes or not. But as it stands now, SERAP has come out to say that CBN must account for the 100 billion naira dirty notes. It's even dirty notes. I mean, what are we supposed to be doing with dirty notes? But again, okay, John Kelly, so I'd like to hear from you. What's your opinion concerning this particular issue, especially, remember, it has to do with dirty and bad notes. Are they expecting for them to send back to the public, knowing that if you go to bank, there are policies now. You cannot take up to 20,000. In some places, you cannot take up to 5,000. You cannot take more than 100,000 from ATM. That's because of the lack of, let me say, limited cash that we have in the country. So what's your take on this?
Okay, the thing we are seeing here is, first, we should understand that Amefule is suffering for all this. He's still suffering for it. So his own case is quite different. And when we talk about accountability, we have this as a general problem in Nigeria. So people just get up, do things the way they feel they should do, and believing because they have an upper hand in the government, nobody is going to call them out or whatever. We had a dirty note. We had to change the currency. In the era of printing, I'm not sure if they're still printing the old notes anymore. But it takes time for a specific note to fade out. It takes time. It doesn't just fade out immediately. So if there are dirty notes, I think CBN usually has a policy of, they have a way of, let me say, a way of condemning an old note or a way of pushing out a dirty note or whatever. So if SERAP is asking for accountability, I think it is even normal for CBN to come out to Nigerians and explain what has happened to these notes. Now, nobody's accusing them of stealing any money yet. SERAP didn't sue them for misappropriation or whatever. He said, just give account what happened to these notes. Now, you have failed in your own part to explain the same way Amefule failed to explain why he's even changing the note in the first place and gave us cashless policy. So when you talk about banks and the ATMs, it's just the same cashless policies that are still affecting it. You know, so they say they want to hoard cash, they want to release cash from people hoarding cash, that people have held cash on the. So that's not even the issue. The primary issue is whatever you're doing, we should be on the know. We are the people. We own this money. We own this society. So the first thing you should do is give us a clear explanation to how these things move. So we can know when things are right and when things are going wrong. You said you're changing the few other notes. And then I'm also seeing in the news that they had to even borrow money to 2 state governors. And you know what, why I am even staggering in this is because I don't see how CBN will even borrow money to a state government and it's not properly documented. So for SERAP to even ask for it, probably they are not seeing enough evidence, not seeing enough documents to back it up.
But is there not supposed to be rights document before fund is being released? Because now they're talking about the money that was used to fix Enugu State Road, money for this project and money for that project and all that and all that. I mean, after, even when there is right documentation, after the fund is being released, is there not always follow-up or something? Do they have to wait for years before they come to start asking?
You see, this is why I always like the movement of these NGOs. You know, in any society where there are no strong NGOs, the society fails. You remember in a case of Rivers State, there's a time the governor came out and said that projects that has been commissioned, projects that has been completed, that the contractors are coming to him. He was not in previous administration. The contractors are coming to him to ask for funds. And then we can also remember that even the previous government was even shouting, if you know I have not paid you, talk now, talk now, talk now.
And nobody says something.
And nobody says something. So these are the things. So CBN could as well give money to these governors with the bid of saying, okay, you need 10 billion. We are going to give you 50 billion. Out of this 50 billion, you will not say you collected 50 billion, but you know that it's 10 billion we're giving you. So these are underground business that people could do. And this is why SERAP is asking for accountability. They want to know how much was released. Let's see from the CBN account, how much left this account for this account. Not what you are just saying verbally on paper or whatever, because there could be two documents. They could actually present one document to the public and have another behind the whole scene. So this is what SERAP wants to know.
Okay, but you equally said something that so far it's as though the whole notes, they are not actually producing the old notes again. So it's just the new ones now. So is there possibility that they could be recycling these old notes? Because I am equally in a state of wondering, what would they be doing? Why would they hurt old notes when they are trying to make the new ones to dominate? So why are they keeping it? Could it be the issue of recycling or something?
Well, I wouldn't say that they are recycling per se, because actually printing of notes is very expensive. To print money is very expensive, so you don't expect them to just start printing money. I think the old notes, to me, the old notes is still in circulation.
Definitely.
Yes, so they are still using it, and I don't think they are even recycling for now, except the condemned note. The dirty notes, which they are asking for.
Is the condemned notes we're talking about?
Yes,
that's
the dirty ones now.
Yeah.
The issue with that recycling is a process entirely. And there is also a board responsible for that, even in the CBN. There is another board responsible for recycling of notes and thereabout. But the issue is, you could say you have recycled 10 billion, and at the end of the day, you recycled 1 billion. These are the things that SERAP is asking for. They want to know, where are the true documents? Where did you recycle them? What happened to this note? How did it go?
Okay.
Not what you tell us. We want to see from the base. You get the point now? So this is what they're actually looking for. Because I've told you, I've given you instance of many things why people now see it very difficult to believe government officials. Because they could say something with their entire heart, swear to it, and at the end of the day, you see that there is faults in it. A whole lot of faults. They've said a lot of things and they didn't even do it. You can see, for example, Amefule is suffering. Probably he's not the only one that's supposed to be suffering.
Who else is supposed to be suffering?
Maybe that is why SERAP is asking these days to ask more questions. Because he may be there facing this entire thing alone, but trust me, he didn't do it alone.
But if he didn't do it alone, there are tendencies that for the period of time that he has been out there, he would have been able to mention one or two. But no one wants to suffer alone.
Actually, I've told you, the way these things work is, who is in power? So you believe that the moment you have your people there, you can come up and do whatever you feel like, and you have immunity, one special immunity that is protecting you. That is one thing that is always giving us these issues. You feel, okay, I'll just give you an instance of Rivers State now. Because you are the governor, you just wake up and you threaten the people. And then after which they feel like, monotoko. And they keep quiet. So even when you're pointing them in their face, so you are the one doing this. Meanwhile, you are the one doing it. You tell them, you are the one doing it. The person will say, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. But it's not the person that is...
You just have to apologize.
So this is why they have to give them the documents. Actually.